Came up with this idea right around the beginning of quarantine. Quarantine started and we were both kind of bored, just working. Obviously, school was online, and all the guys were talking about rollerblading, starting a tournament, whatever it be. So we got the blades, and everyone kind of left campus. A few guys stuck around. We figured it was a good way to work out with all the gyms being closed. So we started rollerblading, and we had a hypothetical situation where I looked at Jake and just asked him how much money it would take for him to rollerblade from here to LA. And that kind of transpired, and we figured we should do it for a cause. During quarantine, there was nothing better to do other than train and kind of stay on your feet, especially because we thought the season would be coming up, which our fingers are still crossed for.
Once we realized that LA might be out of reach, we started to think more realistically. And what came up is that he is actually from Michigan, and we're thinking, what if we just went all the way back to your house? And at first it wasn't really solidified or anything. And the more we thought about it, the more realistic it became. We started looking up routes, calculated the amount of miles we think we could do a day, and saw that it's like 870 miles. So it became more real, and we're like, I think we could actually do this, and we can get more people behind us if we're doing this for a great cause. Our chemistry together and as roommates, as teammates, it made it that much easier. We get along with each other really well. We're always thinking on the same page, and basically we've just become one mind as the men in blades together. It's an easier transition for hockey players to hop on the rollerblades. It's very similar. We realized that obviously there's no ice available, there's no gyms available, and it's a great way to stay in shape, and we love doing it. So obviously we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't love it. So I think rollerblades is actually the perfect cause, because then you can see how we're representing the hockey community as well as UMass Boston and ourselves and the American Cancer Society all together.
I lost my grandpa to cancer, I'd say 4 years ago. And that was pretty tough. And I also had an aunt that had brain cancer. She actually overcame it. And that was 10 years ago or so. And so I thought that'd be a great cause to almost give back.
For me personally, cancer is something that runs directly in my family, in my blood. My aunt battled breast cancer in 2013 and survived. And then shortly after that, my mom was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2014. And she had first beat it and then was re-diagnosed a year later. And she beat it again. So now she's a 2-time lymphoma survivor, and she's been in remission since 2015. And I'm so thankful to not only have her around, but have gone through that experience, and it's humbled me. And actually just recently, one of my best friends from Colorado, Colby Bukes, his mother had been battling cancer since we played together when we were 11 years old. And she's had a long, hard road. She battled for 10 years brutally, and she just passed away a few weeks ago. And that's just all the more incentive for us to do this and raise as much money as we can for these patients. We started training probably in early May, and it's gotten progressively longer and longer. We think that we can pull off anywhere from 80 to 100 miles a day, which is going to be roughly translated to around 10 hours of blading a day during the trip. And we think that with our calculations, we'll be able to make it in 10 to 12 days. As stressful as it's been to plan something this big, it's been awesome to veer our focus from potentially not having a season and having to worry about that and not being as motivated. This is something that we have been fully committed to, and it's really helping us out and keeping our minds busy as well as our legs. I think that the biggest thing for us is that we want to get the word around that cancer patients need funding. And obviously, to me, my biggest goal is to raise as much money as possible so that we actually do make an impact, and that would make the trip more worth it and keep us even more motivated to finish out. And I think that this is something also that could be a movement for people to get out and do something not for themselves, and do something that's a lot bigger than you are.
I think just a positive impact whether it be money or something that lives on, obviously past what we're doing this upcoming week. He kind of mentioned it, but his buddies out in Denver wanted to do a Men in Blades, kind of use our organization, our fundraiser that we created to do something similar. I think they were planning on going 60 miles, which is just, it's awesome. Whatever you do, whatever you can do, just positivity pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. I also wanted to say that I want this to go on the news, on national news, and completely blow up, not only for us and the American Cancer Society, but I want people to watch the news and see something positive, something that's a change in 2020 for once, because obviously it hasn't been going the way we all thought it would. So just shining a light in a world that's been dark.